Up here we have 4 bedrooms.
Okay.
One of them we're using as an office right now, but we're going to be moving my son in because we're expecting another baby.
Awesome. That's great.
Well, thanks.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it. But before we move him in here, this is the room that is not comfortable. It's a little cold here in the wintertime.
Well, I tell you, as I look around the house and all the other bedrooms here, all the other radiators stand that standard height of about 38 inches. There's 3 columns, and this one is definitely not that. It looks like somebody in the past probably took out the original radiator, spun it over, spun the valve over, and put a smaller one here, probably so they could put a bureau right here. But what we got to do is find you the right size radiator in order to get this thing to heat right.
So actually, one of the radiators I took out of the kitchen downstairs, I still have it, and I think it would work.
It's the regular height? Good.
Yeah, I think it would work well here.
Let's look into that, because it's really important to have the right size radiator in every room. Now, you've got a steam system. That means that there's a boiler down in the basement, half filled with water. Think of it like a giant lobster pot. When the system is off, the pipes and the radiators are all filled with air. When the thermostat calls for heat, a flame in the boiler ignites and begins to boil the water. As it gets hotter, the water turns to steam and rapidly expands to 1,700 times its original size and fills the pipes to each radiator. An air valve on each radiator allows the air in the system to vent until the steam is sensed, at which point the valve closes and the radiator fills with steam. And as it loses its temperature, it turns back to water. The water drips back down the same pipe to return to the boiler and be reheated. Now, what's really important with a steam system like this is to have balance, the right size radiator in every room. It's a single zone system. Single thermostat comes on, all the heat comes up into the radiators. Now, in your case, this one's too small, which means it's going to give off less heat to the room, but it's also going to cool off faster than the other ones, and you're going to have this condition. So I think what we're going to do is to break this connection, remove this old radiator, spin the hand valve, and put in your new old radiator right here. Now, people see radiator and think that it's filled with water. It isn't. It's a steam system, so right now it's filled with air. And I could break this connection. It's a mild day and not have any risk of steam coming up. But just to be safe, let's start by turning off the service switch. All right, before I break this connection, I just want to talk about steam radiators in general. At the least case, we would like the radiator to be installed in a way that it is level. So any water that was inside the radiator when it switched from steam to water would drip back this way. So in old houses, the floors often settle. So you can see what's happened here. They've got some shims right here to try and pitch that radiator a little bit, and there's no shim here. So all that's holding this radiator in place really is this nut right here. Now, to break this nut, this is the hand valve, and this has a large union nut right here. We're going to try to break it. And when we do, this part, called the spud, remains in the radiator, and this part, it breaks away. Now, anytime I work on old piping like this, the steam that's expanded and contracted a bunch of times, I want to be careful how I use the wrench. If I put this wrench onto the nut like this, and only bit here and here, what could happen is as I tighten or loosen, I could take this nut and take it out of round and turn it into an oval, and that would wreck it. So what I always do is do what's called a 3-corner bite. You notice that we touch here, but as importantly, we touch on the back side right here, and that effort will keep it turning round. Let's see how we do. Okay. That was easy. Good. Okay, so now the union is broken. Let's just wiggle this out of here. So let's be careful of the floors. Any water?
Just a little bit.
All right, so careful. Lift it with me. Let's put it right onto the pad. Okay. Good. So let's get this one out of here and go find your new old radiator.
All right.
All right, get Skinny coming through the door there.
Go.
Good. This is so great you actually saved this thing.
Yeah, it was all part of the plan.
Okay, yeah, I don't think so. Careful of the floor. Yep. Good. All right, so now we have to spin this hand valve this way, and if I'm going to spin it, I might as well replace it and give you a new one, okay? And if we replace the hand valve, we'll also do the spud on the new radiator. So we're going to do a couple of wrenches here, 3-corner bite on the pipe, and then on the valve. Now come on in here, Tom, and I want you to try pulling that with us. Ready? Okay, let's try a little persuasion.
All right.
Stick that onto the black. 1, 2, 3. Hold back against me. Leverage. It's all about leverage. Right? All right, so here's our old hand valve. It has a rising stem, and at the bottom it has a gasket, but that thing is all worn. Originally it would have been leather. I'm not sure what that is, but it will never hold back steam. So you can see the difference with the new one. Again, it's a rising stem, but this has a brand new high temperature rubber gasket, so when you close this off, at least it'll hold back steam. That's only half of it though. The other half is this thing called the Spud that has the union connection. Now there's not enough room to get a wrench on here, so you'll notice there's 2 little tabs on the inside. They make a special wrench called a Spud wrench designed to go in this way. We'll catch those 2 tabs and it'll allow us to loosen the old one or tighten in the new one. The good news is this existing nut actually matches up, so I don't have to change the Spud, and they don't always come out easy. So we're going to go for just reusing that with a new hand valve.
Very cool.
All right, now we got to put our new work together with some old piping. And anytime I do that, I use pipe dope and a thing called single strand wicking. I want this stuff to not leak. So early on, I'll use adjustable pliers and then use 2 wrenches to snug it up. Not quite. I think that's it. Let's try. Let's try. All right, new hand valves in place, but when we bring the radiator in, people see this nut and they think that's the watertight connection. It isn't. The nut only brings this Spud so tight against the hand valve that this is the watertight seal. So what I like to do is to apply a little bit of pipe dope right on the face. All right, one more thing to muscle, my friend. Let's go. So let's try it. Let's come in for 1 second. Okay, just snug this up a little bit. All right, let's snug it up with the big black, thank you. Great. That should do it. Open the valve. Turn on the system and give it a test.
All right.
All right, thermostat is on. You should be feeling some heat.
Heat's coming up.
That's good. You know what it looks like?
What's that?
Looks like it's always been there.
Well, I can't thank you enough.
It was my pleasure. You were a great help.
Oh, thank you.
Good luck with the baby, too.
Thank you, sir.
Great.